So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to a brand new episode of Is It That Bad? Where we take a look at an album that maybe got mixed reviews and we listen to it to determine was it that bad or wasn't it that bad? And for this one, we're talking about a musician that 2 weeks ago I had no idea who this person was, and neither did anyone on this panel, because this is an artist that basically dropped an album, and just because of the cover alone, it got a lot of buzz. Uh, this album in particular that we're going to talk about, so you know the drill, people. We have usually 3 rounds, but for this special episode, we're having 4 rounds. And the first round will be alone to discuss the artwork alone. So, first of all, I want to, my panel. So we have returning Rock of All Ages. How are you, man?
Hey.
Yeah, and Rock of All I like your pose, Rock of All Ages.
Yeah.
Pay me like one of your Norwegian girls.
No, pay me like one of your French girls. Yes.
People will know soon when we show the artwork. And we have Lorenzo the Professor.
Hey, how's it going?
All good. We have JC Rock and Metal Reviews.
Hello.
And for the first time on the channel, we have Brady. Brady, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here talking with you guys about music. So, yeah, I'm ready. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Brady has a YouTube channel and a band, and he has an album. And after this, he'll let me know if he wants me to review his album.
Cool.
So the album that we're talking about, first of all, Rock of All Ages, put the pose. Take a pose, Rock of All Ages.
What's that?
Okay, yeah, you the pose. So take a good look at Rock of All Ages. So the album that we're gonna talk about today is this album in particular. Where's the goddamn artwork? Oh, here's the artwork. It's Draugveil, and the name of the album is Cruel World of Dreams and Fears. So before we talk about the artwork, a little bit of background. This album got a lot of attention because there were people saying that the artwork was AI generated. And they also claimed that the music could be AI generated. So Robert from the Metal Meltdown actually made a video discussing this. So I said he couldn't make this one, but he's like, damn it, I wanted to do this one, but he's celebrating being married, something with his wife. So that takes precedence over talking about this album. So let's do the first round talking about the artwork. So we'll start Rock of All Ages, then we'll do Lorenzo, JC, Brady, and then me. So Rock of All Ages, tell us, what do you think of this album cover?
Well, before I say anything, this is my 30th episode.
It is.
Yeah.
Happy 30th.
Yes. Thank you all. I'd like to thank the Academy. So this cover art, the very first thought I had, the very first time I saw this was, it's not a phase, Mom.
Yeah, it's out there. What about you, Lorenzo? What did you think about this artwork?
I mean, what to say? I was surprised that people were saying this was AI generated. Because I don't know, I'm sure AI could have done like a much better job of doing a cover. Although I have to say, I think this is awesome because if you're an independent artist doing something new and you wanna get people to buy your stuff, what else but a ridiculous looking cover that you can sell your album to people with? I mean, this is it's if it was done on purpose, I mean, pretty good job.
Yeah, I agree, man. What about you, JC?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think he did this on purpose because every week there are so many black metal albums that come out, and pretty much, people just either listen to them or they don't. But if you want to get noticed, you have to do something kind of crazy. And I think he did this. And nobody's also mentioning the fact that the makeup looks a lot like Gene Simmons. I don't know if that was intentional, but
I just
that was
assumed
my first impression when I saw this. Yeah.
I just assumed that was like how a lot of people in black metal do things.
Not necessarily.
Not really. Mm-mm.
No?
No. So Brady, first time on the channel, your phone cover.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing that JC and Lorenzo said. So, like, obviously it's goofy as hell. It looks goofy as hell. But I checked their Spotify, or I checked Draugveil's Spotify. They have I think it's a one-man project. He has like almost 40,000 monthly listeners on Spotify now, which is crazy for not just a first album by any artist, but for a black metal artist in particular. Like, I can't even imagine the last time a debut album by a one-man black metal project got this much attention. So if his goal was to create this ridiculous artwork to draw attention, then I gotta say he at least accomplished his goal, despite it looking as goofy as it does. So I'll give him maybe a little props there.
Yeah. So when when I first saw this artwork, I'm like, okay, this dude is in an armor and he looks like a Sting. The Sting, the wrestler. I think he used to like paint his, and he's like on a bed of roses. And first of all, where the sword? Where is it going? Because I think maybe that's the way the people thought it was AI, but I don't know. I just think it's a goofy looking album cover, but I gotta say it did its purpose because of this album cover alone, people listen to the damn album. So now on this Is It That Bad, we're gonna say, is the album good or is it bad, or goofy like the album cover? So let's go. This round one, but this is round two actually. So we're gonna discuss our first impressions of when we listen to the actual music. So Rock of All Ages.
I'm sitting normally now. So I did some research on this guy. He has already made music under different stage names like Gore Party. So there was material I could use for research, and I found two things of note. Firstly, I found an interview that he did in German where he was asked about being accused of using AI, and his response was, quote, "Let the people decide. I just made art and showed it to the world." I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume this album was not made using AI. The other thing I found was his Bandcamp page. The personnel credits for this album do not list musicians. There's no guitarist, no drummer, no bass player, no keyboardist, nothing. All it says is written, composed, recorded, and mixed by Draugveil. And I saw mixed, and I had a theory. As we said, this is a one-man project. I think he believed that if he could write all the songs and play all the instruments, he could also produce and mix the album himself. After all, you have to spend money to hire a mixing engineer. Why not just save money and do it yourself? If I'm right, then that explains why the vocals are mixed so terribly on this album. Looking past that, hard as that may be, I don't think the guy is bad at writing songs or playing instruments. I didn't hate the album, and it is thankfully a very short 31 minutes, but he really needed to hire an actual mixing engineer.
Nice. Good first impressions. What about you, Lorenzo?
I when I saw the cover, I was like, oh boy. This is gonna be a trip. Then what I actually got in terms of black metal and music in general, it's kind of standard fare, generic black metal. I'm also gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that it's not made with AI, because unless somebody shows me proof of it, I'm not gonna gonna put it down because of something I don't know. I don't actually know. But probably they did some work on with electronic drums and stuff like that, where he probably didn't play the drums or something. I don't know how he did it all, but that's probably how. I don't know a lot about black metal. That's first things first. But when I listen to black metal, I listen to bands like Agalosh or Agalosh. I don't know if
Yeah.
how do you pronounce it, but
Yeah.
and that's my top of my top of the black metal pole. So when you listen to an Agalosh album and then you listen to this, you realize that there's a very big difference in terms of production and quality and all that. So that the production quality was easily the first thing that you notice. But black metal bands are usually known for having lo-fi, low quality instrumentals and mixing. So I'm sure there's some people who really enjoyed this. I don't know.
Good first initial thoughts. What about you, JC?
Yeah, I'm not really into black metal, but like Lorenzo was saying, there are different types of black metal bands. Like, for example, he was saying Agalak. They have an album called The Mantle, which I like a lot. That's like a very like atmospheric, very, very cold kind of album, and I think that's kind of one that's a whole other level if you're comparing it to that early albums by Dark Throne or Mayhem. Like that was closer to what I thought this Draugveil album was like. It was like that old school with very lo-fi production and all of those sounds. So it wasn't the kind of black metal that I was into. I listened to it once. I listened to it in like two parts, like half at one half yesterday, half today. And it's only a 30-minute album, so that was good. I think there were, as far as AI, I'm not sure it's possible, but I do agree that I think a lot of the drums were programmed. Because I thought the drums were mixed very high, like they sounded very loud, especially like the cymbals. Like I heard them like very loud. I liked there were three instrumentals, and I think those were actually like probably the best songs because I thought they were decent, but the other ones pretty much standard black metal that I'm never gonna like remember. So that's my first impression. Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Brady?
Yeah, so like what's already been said, the first thing that stuck out to me was the fact that it really does like I can get into a lot of black metal. I enjoy a lot of black metal, but my biggest pet peeve with it is when it sounds like it was intentionally made to sound like shit, which does play into the whole like idea that a lot of black metal artists want to be inaccessible, lo-fi, whatever word you want to use. But yeah, I don't like that. That was my initial first impression of it, that it just sounds like shit. I was also going to talk about, like Lorenzo and JC said, the drums in particular. They do, to me, sound processed and kind of just edited in. And the reason I say that is because when you listen to the individual drum beats, they all have the same like velocity to them, if that makes sense. So like they all are at the same volume. So it was obvious to me that they were computerized, which I mean isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, cost might come into play for that, which him being a one-man band, that makes sense, but it kind of then contradicts the whole raw lo-fi thing that he went for with the production. So those things to me contradict each other and end up being a bit awkward. And stylistically, the album doesn't really deviate from typical black metal. It's very just singular and monolithic. A lot of the tracks I found blended together quite a bit. The vocals were like mixed bad, and they sounded really unassuming. They sounded really unintelligible. Couldn't really tell what he was saying. So yeah, few things there. Those are probably overall my first impression of the album.
Yeah, good first impression. So if that's what I think, if he's gonna use AI, at least have some do something with the fucking vocals, because and to beat the drums, it sounded like they did the same drum beat all over again. And I wrote this: the drums on this album are so bad that they're rivaling Saint Anger.
Ooh.
Oh,
I had a feeling you were going to bring up Sam.
them's fighting words.
I don't think it's that bad, but I can see where you're coming from.
But Saint Anger was a human.
That's true.
This was yeah, because the drums, like if you hear every song, it's like boom, bang, bada boom. It's like the same the same drum pattern over and over again in all of the songs. And I don't know what he's singing about. All I heard was ah!
Yeah, to me, the vocals were just super quiet.
It's like screaming, but unintelligible. You can't.
It's like he's screaming, but from another room.
Yeah, yeah.
Or probably it sounds like he's being waterboarded and same time. He's like, whoa, whoa, and he's like being waterboarded and trying to sing these lyrics. So, yeah, so those are our first impressions. But I think a lot of people say AI, but I just think a lot of people, like the Metal Meltdown in his video, a lot of people just say something sounds like shit or they don't like it, it's AI. I'm like, sometimes just stuff sounds bad. But it has like that lo-fi. But I only think that the only thing that sounds like it's programmed, like everyone has said, is the drums, which makes sense because it's a one-man group. But Brady, you have your one-man group. You did the drums, right?
I did perform all the instruments on that album.
Yeah. So if you listen to Brady's album, which I did, it sounds like a human made it.
That is a compliment, I suppose.
Yes. So yeah, let's go to the round. This time, today's round 3, where we can pick 3 songs, or if you have 4, pick 4. Rock of All Ages, what songs did you pick?
I started with Wolves Feast on Forgotten Dreams. The only thing I had written down for this one was meh. My second song was When Silence Became My Kingdom. I like the instrumental, but it doesn't really go anywhere. And then what I think is the worst song on the album, the opening track, Night Without a Name. As I mentioned with the vocals, his vocals are mixed so low that he's barely on the song at all. And it's just really distracting.
It was like almost an instrumental.
Yeah. And I did like the instrumental tracks on here. So, I mean, if that was just another instrumental track, I wouldn't have put it on here. So yeah, those were my 3 songs.
Cool. What about you, Lorenzo?
I mean, most of these are probably interchangeable in terms of how bad, how good or bad they are. Because they all sound mostly the same. So I probably picked the ones that did not sound or didn't follow that same pattern. I didn't pick those because you know, when you hear something a lot in an album and you hear something different, it kind of, you know, makes you go like, oh wait, this is something new finally, you know, and that, you know, helps me to appreciate a song within an album more, at least for me. I don't know about everybody else. So I picked Grief March. I guess I just found it so generic, nothing interesting, very repetitive. At least most of the other songs had, you know, if you went and looked at the lyrics, because I did, because I had no idea what he was saying. It was just very repetitive and generic. The same thing happened with Etched Oath. It just sounded like every other song in the album, most of the songs. And I guess there were most of the other ones were just like the same. So I picked two songs because it was like I don't know what to say except to say that they're just generic. Um when it comes to Night Without a Name, I actually liked it because it was so different lyrically from what I'm used to in black metal albums. It's a song about love, and and it's just I thought Night Without a Name was gonna be how the rest of the songs would come out, you know.
You thought it was going to be describing the album cover.
Yeah, more tongue in cheek, more stuff about, you know, if you're gonna be in a bed of roses with a sword looking like it's your erect penis, then you know I expect I expect the songs to follow suit, you know. But you
If
know,
you're doing the Michael Jackson Thriller pose, you got to go all the
exactly,
way.
yeah,
I was gonna
you
say,
gotta go all the way.
maybe don't say that because if he watches this, he might write a song about his erect penis on the next step.
I mean, it will probably be more interesting than any of these songs.
Wait, is that what the Night Without a Name is?
Happy Pride Month.
Pride Month.
Oh, good ones, Lorenzo. What about you, JC?
Okay, I'm gonna pick actually I picked the first song. It's just Night Without a Name. It just vocals very low. The drums sounded fake. The cymbal crashes on the drums, it just sounded very weird. Like they didn't sound like they weren't mixed properly. And I thought this one kind of gave me a suspicion it was AI, but I had my doubts. It might be. My next pick, track 3, Grief March. Just like Lorenzo, I think Lorenzo said it, lo-fi, generic black metal, same with a weird drum sound, and the guitar solo was mixed very low, so I didn't like that one. And one that nobody's talking about, track 7, Soil Tear, and it features another person, actually another black metal artist called Selvnat, which I just actually looked up, another solo artist from the Ukraine. It was like it could have been okay, but like they ruined it with the production. Just the vocals were very muffled, and there were some of the melodic atmospheric parts which almost saved it, but it's just that production ruined it. But other than that, yeah, those would be my 3. Yeah.
I think
Good.
I think Draugveil's also from Ukraine.
Oh, yes. Okay.
They have some lyrics in German, so I thought might have been German.
Well, he was born in Ukraine, and I think he's currently living in the Czech Republic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who knows? But what about you, Brady?
Yes. So for me, I mean, as we've all already said, like this album, all the songs on here do tend to blend together quite a bit. So it's a little difficult to pick out like 3 individual tracks, but I ended up doing it kind of based on small things. Like, so my first one will be Wolves Feast on Forgotten Dreams. And when I first heard this song, when I first hit play on it, my first reaction was with that like clean guitar intro. I was like, that's crazy. They put a B-side from that first Creed album on this record. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So I
What's
thought
it
that kind of
like
threw me for a little
for?
bit. Etched Oath was my second one. That one just kind of startled me with that just really quirky drum intro, which does very much emphasize what we've also already said about the drums just being processed. Like that just it sounded like pure wankery. That's like the best way I could describe it. Just that, and then the rest of the song just doesn't do anything from there. And then my third one was Moonlit Resurrection. This is one that kind of just blends in with the other songs on here. And something else that kind of irks me about this record is that a very key part of black metal is these chord progressions and how they kind of flow from one to the next. And I found that the chord progressions on this album just were really, really predictable. Like I feel like I knew what they were gonna be before I even heard them. And this song was probably the biggest instance of that. So yeah, those are my three.
Maybe because he asked ChatGPT how to make a
Yeah, this could be.
yeah. So to me, out of this, like I could have picked like any songs. To me, it was hard. Like I'm like, this all sounds like shit. It's like trying to find the shittiest of the shit in a pile of shit. But now that Brady said that part in Wolf sounded like the beginning of Creed, now I can't unhear it. It would have been like, Wolf is on Forgotten Dreams. But yeah, that one is actually one of my picks. Wolf Feast on Forgotten Dreams. I put like the vocals are annoying and sounds like mostly noise to me. Plus, yeah, that intro is kind of weird. That guitar intro is kind of weird. I picked Night Without a Name because this is the first song, and you start the album. I'm like, I put this on. I'm like, ugh, like what am I getting into here? But yeah, the lyrics, you feel like it's almost like an emo song, but sung in black metal. Like, and when his corpse paint, he looked like it would have been interesting instead of black. Like he should have done like an emo black metal version.
Like bangs and stuff.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It would have been interesting.
Bangs, eyeliner.
Yeah, no, but
things.
That blends emo with black metal. That would have been interesting. At least, like it could have had that lo-fi production, but the emo vocals. But yeah, I just thought, yeah, it's all over the place, and the drumming again. And I also, like JC, I picked Soy Tier, and I put this brings a tear for me for having. Yeah, I'm like, there's two people here, and this is the problem with Soil Tier. There's two people there, and I don't know who the fuck is singing because they both sound equally shitty. So
Yep.
So if you're gonna have someone, at least have someone sound differently. But like if they could have taken away the name of the other, I didn't even bother to write down the other artist. Like it's like, I'm sorry, it sounds like you have the same two people on the same track. Like why have two vocalists if you're doing the same style two times? It's just redundant. So that's why I picked that one, because that one just irked me because of that. So yeah, those are my three picks. So everyone has picked some different songs. So now let's go to the final round where we, I didn't say, like where we say our final thoughts, and we rate it thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. So Rock of Ages, your final thoughts and vote.
I'll be honest, this was not as bad as I feared. While there is a time and place for lo-fi black metal, you still need a mixing engineer to make it sound presentable. I really hope this guy hires one if he makes another album. That's the main thing he needs to fix. Overall, this album was tolerable. Thumb sideways.
Okay, so we first thumb sideways. What about you, Lorenzo?
I mean, like I said before, when I have an album cover that's so ridiculous, I expect the music in some ways to follow suit, to give me something different. And this did not give me anything different at all, except for the lyrics and in that first song, which were clearly very different to the usual fare. The rest of the lyrics are the same kind of stuff about, fighting your demons and, stuff like that. But this first song about love, that was like, oh wait, this is something interesting here. And then everything else was but I wanted to give it a fair shot, but the production value was so low and it was so badly mixed. The screaming was terrible. The sound of the drums it clashed with the with the vocals. I don't think I heard a bass at all during the whole album. It's 30 minutes. I don't remember a bass line.
We got an
at
and
all.
justice for all situation here.
First anger, now and justice for all. They're ripping off Mattel.
Yeah.
So you know, when you put all that, the disappointment with the album cover not fitting in with the music and the lyrics, and then the really bad production value, I have to give it a thumbs down.
Okay, so we have a thumbs sideways, a thumbs down. JC?
Yeah. Well, I think there were a few songs that were tolerable. I like the instrumentals, even though the production was bad. Like that last one, When Silence Became My Kingdom, it was like these dungeon synths, which I kind of liked. And then the other instrumental, Beneath the Armor I Rot, which is kind of like that, like piano music, which was not too bad. Out of the songs, there was one song which was maybe the best song, called Vortex. That one, I think it had potential because I like how it changed to like the soft guitars in the middle and got heavier again and had that classical music. So if it was like properly recorded, it might have been, you know, a lot better sounding. But other than that, most of the first 5 songs were, I just didn't like it. And I mean, for me, I'm not a big black metal fan. I'm kind of picky. I like more of the atmospheric stuff or the progressive stuff, bands like Enslaved or those types of bands, Agalak, like that type of thing. But this old school, the ones that are more like that old, like early Dark Throne, I'm usually not into. And if they're good, and if an album is not gonna have a good production quality and be that style, I'm not gonna like it. So it's gonna be a down for me. But it's just maybe a couple of things which were okay, but still a thumbs down.
Okay, so sideways, 2 thumbs down. Brady, your final thoughts and rating.
Yeah, so stylistically, there was a lot of just kind of meh on this album that just didn't do much for me. That wasn't necessarily bad. The thing that really ruins it is the production. Like I said earlier, like I like a lot of black metal, but it's my biggest pet peeve when it really does sound unrefined and shitty to be. That just ruined it. And the thing about this album for me is that, I'll tell you a quick story here. So I work in a kitchen, and I listen to most of my music like in preparation for my reviews. Like I have a sound system in the kitchen, so I'm by myself. I could blast whatever music I want. And this is an album where whenever someone else comes into the kitchen, I would be embarrassed for them to hear me listening to it. It's just it sounds almost like a parody of what black metal is. It doesn't sound to me like an album that is meant to be taken seriously. And like if it was kind of something that was more like a tongue-in-cheek type thing, that'd be different. But it's not the vibe I get from it. And I think all of us being metalheads kind of go through that thing where it's like, if we're gonna show a metal album or any metal music to somebody, trying to get them into the genre, like it should be inviting, and you're going to want to pick something that would like actually want them to hear more, you know. This is not one of those albums. This album, it would embarrass me showing somebody who doesn't listen to metal trying to be into metal. That's the best way I could put it. So it gets an easy thumbs down for me.
Nice. So Brady, I was going to say to you, just wait till you're in more of these episodes. You're going to, oh my God. like what?
I don't know, man. It's been. I don't know if I can handle listening to all this bad music, dude. It might be too much.
I'd like to introduce someone to metal and be like, "Here's this Draugveil album. Here's Lulu."
Yeah, that's what I'd do if I didn't want somebody to listen to metal. I'd be like, "Stay away from
more
metal.
for me."
Check this out.
Yeah. So obviously that we have a lot of thumbs down, except for Rockefeller, yes, who gave it a sideways. So. Yeah, no, this album, it's an interesting album that this should have been the album cover. The internet, and I remember Rockefeller just told me, who's that? And I'm like, I think he was wasn't he in a black metal band that killed? one of his bandmates, because that's like, if you're in a black metal band in the 90s, you had to kill one of your bandmates. I think that was like part of the ritual.
Wait, is that Barg?
Bart Vickers.
Oh yeah, that is Barg. That's an old Barg.
That's an old bargain. He's like, "Hit me, baby, one more time."
Like, all I did was burn some churches and kill a bandmate. Why do people hate me?
Yeah, like Cruel Barg. Well, Kanye is friends with him now.
Oh, of course he is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised at all.
So I'm glad I listened to this album in the privacy of my home. I think because I listened to it 3 times to prepare.
Same.
The first time I listened, and I said maybe I'll listen to it in the car and it will pass car test. It failed the car test. I was like driving it and I'm like, oh my God, like it made me grumpy. So what's bad about this album? Everything. The production, the vocals, the drumming, the lyrics beside the emo one, it's just your typical generic black metal crap. So I like some black metal, but if it's like done intelligently. But yeah, this is something that it's embarrassing, and it's the fact that it's getting a lot of recognition is just because of the artwork. So bravo for Draugveil, or Draugveil, or whatever his name is. But if he wants to be taken seriously, he has to hire someone to mix this shit, because maybe there's a decent album within him, but it's not on this album. So obviously, this is a thumbs down. So surprisingly, Rockefeller, I just liked it a little bit, but besides that,
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but I didn't hate it.
I think he's comparing it to Bottle of Mud, which is the new standard low.
Genuinely, I did not have that on my mind. I'm just like, look, I think it was JC who mentioned the like atmospheric quality of black metal. Like, I can get into that, and I feel like even though I could kind of get into that here, there are probably like tons of bands who do that way better.
Oh yeah.
So many.
Halloween, let's dress like Draugveil.
I'm down.
I would totally dress like that for Halloween.
I would do that for Halloween, of course.
Where
Could you imagine
buy
a bunch of Draugveils just hanging
where
around?
can I buy a suit of armor at a reasonable price?
This will be a picture like, hey, join me on the couch.
Hey, ladies.
Yeah.
So
So
like black metal?
well, don't listen to this one. So yeah, this goes, obviously it is that bad. It's going down the toilet. So yes, this was an interesting one to talk about. So I want to thank my panel. First of all, Rock of All Ages. Rock of All Ages, he begs to listen to shit.
I just like talking about music with friends.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so subscribe to his channel. Lorenzo the Professor. So Lorenzo, I sent you like apparently YouTube now. There's a new way to make money. They're like your videos in the classroom, and I thought, yeah, I don't think I can show my content in a classroom.
Oh, and
Hey,
he showed that to me, and I said, "Oh, show that to Lorenzo. He is, after all, a professor."
maybe I can show it in my classroom. I don't know. We'll see. When I give a copyright law, something like that.
Video. So yeah, so Lorenzo obviously will be back for more Is It That Bads. And JC, again, thank you for taking some time to listen to this once. And you can tell that JC really thought it was bad, because 30 minutes, he divided into half of 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I had to listen to it in 2 parts. I couldn't do the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I gotta say, there's only one song I like from this album, and it's the last one, In My Kingdom, because I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
If it's an purely instrumental album, I would be down for it, because it sounded like a dungeon meets Zelda type of thing. But
Yeah, I like that one too as well.
I
Yeah.
thought you liked the last song because it ended the album.
I was going to say.
and also because it ended. So, of course, for the first time on the channel, Brady, since this is the first time, Brady, talk about your channel.
Well, thank you. So yeah, I do album reviews. That's pretty much the bulk of it. I occasionally do like discography rankings. I like talking about some of my favorite albums just to switch things up. But I've had my channel for like a year and a half now. And yeah, I started just because it's an excuse for me to nerd out about music, and it will at least attract people who also enjoy nerding out about music or listening to people nerd out about music. So it was, but it's fun. I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah. So, and also you have a band, Omerta.
I do. Omentor. Yeah. Omentor is my it's band / solo project. I do everything. I play all the instruments. I do all the songwriting. I do also do all the producing.
He's
It
like
at least
Prince.
at the bare minimum, it at least sounds better than this album. So
The bar was low with this.
that's true. It's okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I listened to Brady's album, and yes, it sounds coherent. Do you still want me to review your album?
Go for it, dude. If you want to put the effort in and go ahead and do it, I would totally, that'd be awesome. I love just getting feedback from people. So whether it's good, whether it's bad, hearing thoughts on my music is, I love it. So please go for it. Thank you.
And it's more metallic hardcore.
Yep.
But yes, that's why I thought when we were talking, I'm like, Brady's great for this because he has a one-man album. So what better than to have someone that has a one-man album to talk about someone that has a one-man band?
Yeah, and it sucks because him also being a one-man band, like I feel bad shitting all over his music, but it's just, sometimes you can't help it.
Yeah. So Brady, thank you hope you enjoyed your first episode of Is It That Bad? So, and obviously, if you like what you see here, subscribe to my channel. So this week, like when this premieres, I'll probably be in the Magic Kingdom, but don't worry, I have some interviews premiering, and once we get back, the next Is It That Bad? After this, we have an Is It That Bad for Hinder, which I know you covered on your channel, Brady.
I did.
Oh.
Yeah, that was rough.
But it's better than this one.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah. And also the latest from Buck Cherry. So basically, July 4th weekend is Divorce That Rock weekend. Because
The
those are
celebration America deserves.
the celebration.
I think it's very fitting for July 4th weekend.
Yeah, those two bands are perfect for that. And after this, I'm going to review the last album by Arcade Fire. And we'll have Tom the Green Man and Señorita Sabrosura returning for that one, which will be interesting. And after that, I don't know, there's many stuff that we'll have to do. So, Couchers, tell me down below, what do you think of this album by Draugveil? Do you think it's AI? Comment why do you think it's AI? Or, this is my theory. If it was AI, he bought the cheap version, man.
The free version.
Yeah. Because this sounds like shit, man.
More like artificial unintelligence. That's what it is.
It's just so bad sounding. So yeah, comment down below what tracks do you think are the worst, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on another episode of Is It That Bad? So until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.